It is very necessary and important that we understand how the world and the universe works. And the only way we can actually do that is understand what Newton's third law of motion was, which was that for every action of force there is an equal and opposite reaction occurs. And this is always something that happens. Understanding this will bring us a complete understanding of how everything works, the reasons to why things work, how things work, why certain things happen the way they do, so that we can not only apply that to the critical thought of our own personal development to achieve the things we want to achieve, but it will also give us an understanding of how evil is even cultivated in this world and how manipulation is used against its own people in the forms and ways that it is through things like political manipulation and things of that nature. So what I'm going to do is give you some examples of how this works, because this applies to everything in life. Everything. Okay, so for example, health, political manipulation, manifestation. If you want to manifest anything into your life, you have to understand how this all works so that you can use nature to your favor so that you achieve the things that you want to achieve. So for example, manifestation, bad karma, good karma. You know, religion, science, they basically agree with each other, that they describe how the universe works in different ways. One's more blunt and nihilistic, one is more romanticized and beautiful, which is religion, of course. Because, you know, bad karma, good karma is the same thing as cause and effect, but religion applies a moral compass to what science does not do, because it just doesn't do that, which is why science is you could say a weaker form of science itself than religion, because religion is also a science. But bad karma, so for example, bad karma is something like consumerism. The reason why that's bad karma is because it's instant gratification. Instant gratification does one singular thing, and what it does is it does not understand that one of the laws of nature is that there is continual resistance in this world. There is continuous force hitting each other and in confrontation with each other, to either for the sake of domination over something else or to create something new in its combination. Someone who is so invested in the consumerist world is someone who is basically trying to cheat fate and cheat the laws of nature, because they become subdued and they fall for the trick of one singular force, and they give up their life to instant gratification, which would be one singular force. So that would be something of some sort of addiction for a certain dopamine hit, or whatever that is, that force which puts that into the world. Man himself falls for it and falls for that singular force and accepts it and becomes a slave to it. By doing that, he destroys himself and his potential, because man is supposed to be the thing in between the duality. He's supposed to be the thing that dances two dualities into rhythm with each other to try and manifest God into the world. But when someone, for example, is a slave to instant gratification, he doesn't understand the laws of nature. And when you don't understand that, you lose and you fail. You become a loser, basically, because you now are a slave to this singular force. It's become your identity, it's become everything, and it's taking away your vitality, because you have just fallen for it. And that will reap you bad karma, because that is what bad karma is. Bad karma comes from the fact of you not understanding or understanding how nature actually works, which is the fact that there has to be resistance. Good karma only comes from when you accept the fact that there is resistance in this world, and you are humble to nature and the way God plays his games, and you then, through that, you accept how these things work, and you strive and you try to conquer and you try to work hard to get what you want in this life, because that is what is necessary. You can't just be given these things like the consumerist instant gratification individual thinks they can. I mean, they can, but they will get bad karma, which will be the outcome of being some sort of fat slob who has no, self-respect, for example. That would be their karma. The consequence of their actions would be that. But for someone who does have good karma, or will receive good karma, as someone who understands that continual resistance exists in this world, and you use it to your advantage, and you strive. That's where the fact of earning what you get comes into being. You earn the reward in which you are given because you have fought for it. You have been a force of resistance to try and attain it because you have worked for it. You've done a lot of things for that goal in which you then achieve. If you don't do that, then you're going to get bad karma because you're not playing by the laws of the universe. But if you do that, you're going to get good karma and you're going to get the thing that you are striving to attain and striving to achieve, because you are being an individual of discipline. You are trying to become a disciplined person. And this is what I'm doing in my course. I'm teaching people mind over matrix. The matrix is the thing that is giving people chronic procrastination. It's not that you are someone who is, lazy, this or whatever. It's the society or the antithesis of society, of what society should truly be, which is the matrix, is trying to harbour your energy, extract your energy from you, turn you into a chronic procrastinator, and make you into basically a battery of energy for the thing which is trying to control you and bring its power over you. And what you need to be able to do is develop discipline and understand the laws of nature so that you can use it in your favor, so that you don't become a slave to something like this, and instead you become a disciplined, sovereign individual who can do what they wish to do because they are disciplined in their own subject, and they are a master of what they do. And that is what I'm teaching through the course that I have, the Mind Over Matrix, which is to defeat procrastination. It's not because you are someone who is a loser. No one's a loser or anything like this. Or it's not your fault that you procrastinate, but it is the modern world, the modern consumer world, which has enforced that form of living into your state of being. And that is something I'm working with people on, to try and pull them out, to give them tools to discipline themselves against something like that. So that is one form of, that's how manifestation works in relation to this law. Now let's think of political manipulation. So it happens all the time. It's through the Hegelian dialectic. And the Hegelian dialectic is an application of Newton's third law. Action, reaction, force, reaction, equal and opposite reaction. But what they do is they get that reaction, and they use that to be given a solution to that reaction. They give a solution to that reaction, and then that is used to forward the particular narrative or agenda that is desired to be created. And you have this with everything. You have this with everything that is involved in mainstream media. If you can understand this, you see through it already. So you already know what I'm talking about. But you have this with things like BLM. You have this with the use of the LGBT movement. You have this with, for example, Kanye West talking about anti-Semitism, and all these things are in place to create new solutions for the movement of the global agenda and things of this nature, and which is that there is an action, reaction, and solution, and all of this, and that is also how the third law is used to manipulate people. A more obvious one, to make it more obvious for you, is just politics in general. You have the Democrats and you have the Republicans. There shouldn't be any kind of divide, but that is used to divide people so that they don't see what is above them, which is the puppeteers that are controlling the situation in which you are living in. So that is another very obvious example of political manipulation. It divides people unnecessarily, and it's a very annoying thing to see, because I'm just tired and sick of seeing that. And most people are awake to that kind of form of Maya, are also very awake to it, and they don't want to be involved in it or even contemplate it, because people even make commentary on politics are part of the problem as well. So political manipulation is also using Newton's third law by certain individuals who want to control you and have power over you, which is also part of the matrix. But if you understand this third law, your mind overcomes the matrix, as in mind over matter, mind over matrix. It's all the same stuff. And of course, health, as I said before, if you eat something of good force, if you eat high nutritionist food, let's say very lean, well agricultured meat, let's say. It's good sirloin steak, stuff that hasn't been fucked around with, and you eat low carbs, things that are naturally grown. There isn't much things that have been messed around with it. And you also, let's say, lift weights, you go to the gym. Two forms of force equal what? A reaction that is going to be good for you. It's going to be the opposite, and it's going to be the equal reaction, but it's going to be very good for you. It's going to benefit you. There's not one person in this world that goes to the gym, that eats good, healthy, high nutritionist food, that is in a bad shape, or has a bad mental health situation, or whatever, or is, not very fit. Anyone who goes to the gym is going to be very fit. It's an objective fact. It's the first principle of life. And that is the same thing that I am saying with regards to continual resistance in nature as I am saying with involuntary suffering. Because if you understand that continual resistance exists, and if you strive through it to gain the rewards in which you are trying to attain, and you earn it, then it is the same as applying or accepting voluntary suffering into your life so that you gain the rewards from it. It is the same thing. Suffering, resistance, both the same thing. Nature itself, it doesn't moralize it, it's just like resistance, there is resistance. Now let's give an example of this, of how nature works, because there's resistance, there's continual resistance in life, and that is how it works. You have a salmon, a fish, is trying to swim upstream. The only way that salmon is going to continue on its genes, its DNA, its existence, its inheritance, or any of this type of thing, is if it swims against the stream. Resistance goes against the stream to get to the top so it can mate with all the women up there. Or whatever the hell it is. Whatever the hell is up there, because it's like heaven. It's the metaphorical heaven for salmon. Is that if they get up there, they're going to be able to mate with all the ladyfish. And voila, you have multiplication or replication or whatever. So it's a fundamental part of life that there's continual resistance in everything you do, even in the meaning of that fish's life. There's continual resistance. So when you're trying to attain a goal, you need to understand that there's continual resistance. You need to stop adopting the consumerist mindset, which has indoctrinated you into being a chronic procrastinator, because that's what the Matrix does. It indoctrinates you into that lifestyle, into that mindset. And you need to develop a strong, strict, disciplined mindset that goes against that understands the laws of nature and how this law, Newton's third law of motion, applies to every single thing that you do on a daily basis. And you need to apply that law to everything that you see in life, as I was saying, with political manipulation, health, manifestation. If you want to manifest certain things into your life, you need to understand that this is how it works. Bad karma is consumerism, instant gratification. It doesn't think of the consequence, it only thinks of the action. It's like, oh, the action is sweet. I love Haribo's. I love McDonald's. I love like these disgusting burgers that like taste nice, but they're really bad for my internal temple. But then of course you eat it, and then the consequence is something bad because, if you keep doing that, you're going to get fat, you're going to die or whatever. And bad karma is something that only focuses on the first immediate action. And you don't have any control of yourself or of your own mind if you're always tempted into biting the apple without understanding the consequence of what's going to happen. You're not a disciplined individual if you're always tricked by temptation, if you're always tricked by the indulgence of dopamine cycles that you have allowed yourself to be addicted to. So same with social media, same with all of this stuff. This is what the Matrix is. The Matrix is the thing that causes you to be a chronic procrastinator in the consumer world in this modern age. And this is why I have developed the course Mind Over Matrix, which is about defeating all forms of procrastination. It's about defeating all forms of modern procrastination, whether it be being a slack ass, not doing the things that you say you're going to do, being lazy, being someone who lives in fantasy rather than action, someone who lives a reactive lifestyle rather than a proactive lifestyle, and all of these things. So the problem is that there are people who have been enforced and become slaves to chronic procrastination because they have taken on the values of consumer society and consumerism itself, which you could call is the values of the matrix, because it indoctrinates you into a certain mindset which drains your energy and drains your potential and of achieving the things that you truly want to achieve. Now the solution is a toolkit, which is this course, a toolkit which gives you the techniques and lessons to become disciplined towards the things that you want to achieve. And there's 3 particular people I've made this course for. 1 is the escapist, 2 is the idealistic dreamer, and 3 is the struggling student. So if you're a student and you have these goals in mind and you want to try and achieve the best grades and you want to try and do things and create things and strive for certain things within your domain, then but maybe you're distracted by these certain things that are online, you have bad routines and all this is of course exactly for you. If you're someone who is maybe an idealistic dreamer, you have all of these fantasies, you have all these ideas in your head that are idealistic but not realistic, and you don't have any form of real action plan, then this is also for you. Or if you're someone who's simply an escapist, you're mostly more the complete victim of the matrix, and you're someone who has all these bad habits and you procrastinate a lot on everything and you want to try and overcome these issues, then this is also something for you, because you're of course someone who struggles with this fundamentally because you've wired your mind towards instant gratification, convenience, consumerism and things of this nature. So if you fit into any form of those categories, then please do make sure you check out the course itself. The link will be in the description below. It's called Mind Over Matrix, Defeat Procrastination. And if you have if you want to use the course but also do consulting with me, you can also find a link in the description below as well, and we can implement those 2 things together to get the most holistic, pragmatic and practical solution made possible that is specifically tailored to your needs. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll speak to you in the next one.